story. He did a great job speaking to it, but I did want to tell it with the perspective of how the PANDAS Network helped us in navigate through it. So PANDAS, again, is pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with strep. I highly recommend, if you really want to know, read the children's book version of it. It's very accurate and a lot easier to understand, and those books are up there for anyone to take. Some quick stats: 1 in 200 children are affected by PANDAS and PANS. The average age of onset is 4 to 10, and 49% of patients have OCD and tics as primary symptoms. And I also want to thank we have representatives from PANDAS Network who will speak after Rachel and Amy, who flew all the way from Iowa to be here today. So as Ray had said, he had a ton of strep infections and ear infections as a child. He had his adenoids and tonsils out by the age of 3, so it was never a surprise when Ray was sick or had fever or strep. It was a normal part of our life. But we'll never forget one evening in February of 2015. As Ray described it, it was like our child turned into a different person, like flipping a light switch. As you can imagine, we were very confused and scared. We immediately made a doctor appointment the next day with our pediatrician. She knew Ray well, so when we came in with them, she was as stunned as we were with what was happening. She ran blood tests and told us, I don't know what's wrong, you need to make an appointment with a psychologist. So at that time, 10 years ago, PANDAS was hardly known compared to it is now. Now it's still hardly known. I think this community knows a lot about it because we've shared it so much. But a lot of people, a lot of the medical community have no idea what PANDAS is. So my sister's a doctor, so I gave her all the symptoms. She wasn't sure either, but she consulted the medical librarian, her medical school, and they came up with what sounded like a rare disorder called PANDAS. So when we searched PANDAS on the internet, we immediately came across the PANDAS Network, which was full of amazing information. I emailed them and they provided me research such as local Facebook groups of parents going through the same thing, suggested testing to be done. So Hal and I were like, sweet, we have our answer, we get it right back. However, I had no idea that we were now in for the biggest fight of our life. I went to the pediatrician and psychologist, they had no clue what I was talking about. So I went to the smartest doctor I knew, after my sister, she's here today with you. And it was Ray's ear, nose, and throat doctor. And he was like, Denise, I have no clue what this is. I've never heard of this, but give me what you found. So he took the information that we found on PANDAS Network, ran those blood tests, and even had his residents start a research paper on PANDAS. But I was again at a dead end. We had the blood work, we had results, but no diagnosis. Ray was not improving and was having difficulty functioning, going to school, getting dressed, eating, or all of feet. He couldn't wash his hands enough, shower long enough, and he had extreme separation anxiety. We called a doctor that was referred to us through the parent we found in PANDAS Network, and it was a 6-month wait. He was the only doctor in Michigan that would see PANDAS patients. We were desperate to get our Ray better, so we made a decision. We went to the emergency room. We knew they'd have to treat us. We went to Children's Downtown, where this famous PANDAS doctor practiced out of. We optimistically arrived, and they admitted us, and they didn't believe us. We were questioned by Child Protective Services together and separately. We were questioned about drugs, abuse, family members' life habits, and more. Their thought was that Ray stole medicine from our medicine cabinet. Hal was livid. I was upset. And then an angel of a medical student took us to the side and asked us, do you have any videos of Ray showing his OCD tendencies? Because he was just laying in a hospital bed. And of course, Hal did. And they immediately admitted us, and they told us, we can't diagnose PANDAS. We don't know what it is. In fact, they said it's a made-up disorder by parents whose kids really have psychological disorders. But we will rule out every other thing possible. Like, fine, let's do that. So fast forward through multiple blood draws, MRIs, PET scans, spinal tap. They ruled everything else out. So I'm going to fast forward through the appointments they sent us to. Immunologists, neuroimmunologists, behavior therapists, psychiatrists, neurologists that had studies going that they thought maybe he would fit into. Other MRIs, more blood work. 6 months later, we finally got into that PANDAS doctor. He officially diagnosed with PANDAS based on all the tests, but he couldn't treat him. Long story short, PANDAS treatments and all the tests we had gone through are not covered by insurance. The doctor would not do the treatments unless they were covered by insurance. He usually can do this by finding a loophole to treat under a different diagnosis, but Ray was, quote unquote, a perfect bill of health. Back to PANDAS Network again. They gave me names of doctors that would treat Ray, one in Washington, D.C. and one in the Chicago area. I reached out to Dr. Kavashvik in Chicago, who we think this man daily, and he said, "Can you be here next week?" We were there. He diagnosed Ray, explained he needed IVIG, and set an appointment for us to go back. IVIG is very expensive and not covered by insurance. We didn't care. We canceled cable, traded our car for a smaller car, did whatever we needed to afford it. Ray spent 2 days getting IVIG, and 6 weeks later, we had our Ray back, along with a plethora of guidelines, medications, appointments, and supplements. And we went back and forth to Chicago for years. We shared Ray's story, and we've been able to help dozens and dozens of children across the nation. We have helped to participate in the release of the documentary called My Kid Is Not Crazy. We have gone to Lansing, had Ray share his story, and are continuing to try to get bills passed in the government to have insurance cover PANDAS diagnosis. Keep in mind that just because something isn't covered by insurance doesn't mean it's not the right treatment. This is a fight PANDAS parents have been fighting for years and continue to fight. Your donations to PANDAS Network is going directly to research at Columbia University to finish the research that once and for all will prove PANDAS and the effective treatments. I'll never forget when we were in Lansing, a father came up to Ray and shook his hand and said, "You give me hope for my son." That's when we knew we were continuing to do the right thing and advocating for these families. When I talk to families, I always feel super fortunate, as most parents and children going through this do not have the support team, the family, community, or the school support that we had here. To everyone in this room, I can't thank you all enough for always supporting Ray and our family, from handling school pickups, dropping off food, or entertaining Mason for us. Maddie Paff, Callie McMillan, and I know Seth Colbert's not here, but you're the most understanding friends Ray had during this time. Ray's brothers, Nick and Ray, this was traumatic for you as well, and I appreciate all the patience. Our parents, thank you. The tears you shed, the amazing support you provided us, and the only people Ray would allow to watch him. Mom, so many appointments and so many brides with meatball subs. My Shalom ladies that I invited here today. Bianca, you kept me sane, and you provided an environment for Ray that allowed him to still attend school. Most families don't get that opportunity. Veronica, you knew when I needed a hug or a picture sent to me just showing me Ray's okay. Peggy, you were Ray's safe place to go through the day, and I can never thank you enough, as I'm not sure Ray would have gotten through those days without you. Al, I love you. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
You had me at hello.
Hale and I are strong believers and everything happens for a reason, and it does. Ray has been able to teach and advocate for other kids through his story and his results. He was on the news, we've shared on social media, and we've been able to help so many kids. And here we are now, full circle. The amazing group of friends of Ray's have selected the PANDAS Network as the charity. I can't thank you all enough. If you take one thing from my story today, please take this. When faced with adversity, try to find the good in it, or find how you can turn it into a positive. I promise you that in the end, the story will have a much more beautiful ending.